I was under the impression that the Nintendo Switch was coming to the end of its natural lifespan. First released in 2017, it's past time we got its successor, and whether it's called Switch 2 or whatever, it'll most likely appear on shelves early next year, meaning the Switch will have lived longer than even the Wii did. My good old Switch Lite itself is nearly 5 years old, and although its motion controls are shagged, holds battery for about 20 minutes, and has a chip in the screen, the old codger is still faithfully plugging away. Lovely little thing. So, some people were left scratching their heads a bit when Nintendo recently released information about a rather huge slew of new games for the system. Of course, more than likely these will all be released as launch titles for the next console as well. We've seen that from Nintendo plenty in the past, but it's kind of them to acknowledge Switch owners in this way by giving them the games as well. Not everyone can afford a new console on release day, of course. There's going to be a new Mario and Luigi adventure for the first time in 9 years. The NES speedrunning showcase thing looks really cool. Plenty of old games are getting remakes or re-releases. I'm particularly hyped for the Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake. But most excitingly perhaps, we're getting a brand new Zelda game called Echoes of Wisdom that looks really puzzle focused and allows you to play as Zelda herself. Take all my rupees. That doesn't come out for a few months, sadly, so in the meantime I thought I'd treat myself and play one of the Game Boy Advance titles on the channel. It may surprise some folk that a huge Game Boy and Zelda fan has never touched Four Swords or Minish Cap before, but I just never got around to them. A Link to the Past is a really good portable version of one of the greatest 16-bit games ever, and the cartridge comes with the first multiplayer Zelda with the Four Swords adventure. It's been well established by now that my lack of friends always puts a dampener on any multi-person shenanigans I could hope to have, so instead, let's look at the GBA's brand new adventure, the Minish Cap. The story here begins with our intrepid child hero Link attending the Hyrule Festival with the ever-capturable Princess Zelda. When the malevolent sorcerer Vati turns old Zelly to stone, revealing a broken Picori blade in the process, Link must undertake a unique adventure to find the tiny race of beings called the Minish, restore the sword, and save Hyrule and her princess. Pretty early on in your questings, you'll find this strange talking cap called Eslo, who teaches you how to use the stumps you'll see around the place, not unlike Oracle of Seasons, where stumps allowed you to change between spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Here, you can squish down to a tiny version of Link, which allows access to parts of the map you couldn't get to before. This duality of perspective is a fascinating concept and fits so well with the fantastical nature of the Zelda universe. As always, the writing is full of character and the utmost charm, with Eslo in particular providing humorous and insightful commentary throughout the journey. You can talk to him at any time to get clues on what your next broad objective is, or just have a quick chat. Each of the main characters has a snippet of voice acting accompanying their text. It might just be a groan or an aha or something, but it's an example of the layers of flavor you'll find throughout. One of the most striking aspects of the Minish Cap is its visual presentation. On a non-terrible screen, the vibrancy of the colors is fantastic, and reminiscent of the GameCube's The Wind Waker, which had come out a couple of years before this. The environments are varied and full of life, with overlaid animations and higher graphical layers creating a truly immersive world. There's a real attention to detail when comparing the normal and miniature worlds, and they correlate pretty damn perfectly. As teensy Link, mundane objects like leaves and puddles take on a whole new meaning, becoming massive obstacles or even new places to adventure. It'd be easy for this shrinking mechanic to fall into the gimmick territory, but it never does here. In fact, while becoming miniaturized is often a part of the overworld exploration and puzzle solving, you might find yourself inside a dungeon and almost forget that you are smaller, as they play out like regular Zelda dungeons. You'll first need to venture into 4 shrunken shrines to find these 4 elements that the Minish will need in order to reforge your sword for you. The originality doesn't stop with the size changing, though. The classic tools you can find have some new additions as well. In the first shrine, you'll find what's called the Gust Jar. This can be used in lots of different ways, blowing away enemy armor, uncovering switches, removing cobwebs from blocking doorways, or even sucking in these springy mushrooms and firing yourself across gaps. These mole mitts let you dig through sand barriers and also look for buried treasure. Of course, in the good old-fashioned, if you get a tool in a dungeon, chances are you'll need it to defeat that dungeon's boss, which ensures the fights are always going to be different. As always, the dungeon design is second to none, combining all the classic puzzle elements with Minish's unique mechanics to create really thoughtful and inventive arenas. Another notable feature is the Kinstone fusion system. Throughout the game, Link can collect green, blue, red, or gold Kinstones. These can yield rupees or pieces of heart, but occasionally can also be fused with a stone held by an NPC to unlock secret areas or revealing hidden treasures. This really encourages interaction with the game's world and rewards you for chatting to everyone you meet. You never know what you'll uncover. Alongside the visual presentation, you get a divine soundtrack that has plenty of nods to earlier songs as it sets the atmosphere wonderfully. It manages to do what the whole game does so well, take the tried and true formula and doing just enough to keep it relevant. If there were any complaints, the game is probably too short, not having the standard 8 dungeons and a smaller than usual overworld, and perhaps there weren't that many risks taken here, but with the legacy set by the previous Game Boy Zeldas, they've earned that right, I reckon. As a game on its own, not compared to any other Zelda property, this is magnificent.